Hello everyone, welcome to this Blender tutorial. Today I want to show you how to create this 24 style intro, and while it's not completely accurate and the timing could be better, it comes pretty close to the intro of the TV show 24. Now let's head into Blender. As you can see, I have already prepared some things. Like these digital digits, they are simply made out of two-dimensional planes that I have, if you can see that, I have shaped them into these single sections that make up the digital numbers. If I render this now, we can see it's a simple and white material, not much to it. And how do we create the 24 logo from this? First of all, I want these complete digits that form the 8s on a single render layer that will only render them out. And I will need another render layer that I will call 24 that will give us the actual number 24 or whatever number you choose. This 24 layer is going to only render what's on the second layer, and of course right now the second layer is empty, but we can change that. We're simply going to, by pressing Shift D, copy them over, pressing Escape so they stay in the same position, M, and then move those over to the second layer. And on the second layer we will delete everything that is not needed for the 24, and now we have this. A 24 on one layer and the 88 on another. So let's take care of the material. We want to have it shadeless, that's okay. And I also want to have it transparent. 0.3 for the background stuff and give it an kind of orange tint, and maybe even 0.2. Doesn't look like much yet, but we will get there. And I will call this material just let's just call it 88, because that's what we're going to use for the 88 numbers. And the actual 24 number, that's funny. Let me check something. Oh, I must have selected those. So what confused me for a second there, I had all the numbers selected when I changed this material to 88. And I had expected the 24 number to be still, well, still the white material, but that wasn't the case. It has already changed all the numbers of 24 to this 88 material. But if we click here, it will make the material a single user copy. We will have the same orange tone, but we can increase the transparency. And this will now have only affected this one segment, but if we shift right click, select all the other elements, and then the first one again that had this 88.1 material that I will now change to 24, and we click here, copy material to others. And now every of these objects that were selected, the whole 24 number has the 24 material and the 88 number has this 88 material. So far so good. Now let's take care of a little bit of compositing here. Let me show you this. So we have this. Of course, we're already in compositing nodes. I have selected use nodes and backdrop. We have one render layer for the 88 and Shift D to copy it, and we want to have the 24 for that. And of course I have to make sure that both layers are selected, otherwise it won't render. Okay, now for compositing I want to have a fairly standard setup with some blur, relative, fast Gaussian, and let's say about 7% in each direction, and correct it for the Y scale. That seems okay. Shift D and a smaller one. And now to color, mix, and set it to add. Now we have this kind of glowing 88. And I select, right click and Shift D to copy this all over to get the same glowing setup for the 24. And just add the sharp 24 over it one more time, so we get a nice sharp edge around it. And finally one more add that brings the 88 in the background. And right now I see that I might decrease the the brightness of the 24 material. Let's check here. Maybe 0.5 or 0.6 will be enough, so it's not .7. Well, maybe a little more into the, generally a little bit brighter. Well, I will leave it like this for now. So how do we get this glimmer effect on the first layer with the 88 selected, one of them at least? We hover over the alpha of the transparency and press I. This will insert a keyframe, and with a keyframe inserted we will have this thing available in the what's called graph editor. Graph editor with the material alpha selected. We will add a modifier noise, and I want the noise to be restricted, or to run over the entire course of the animation from frame 1 to 115, and I want it to fade in over the course of, let's say, 20 frames and fade out over a second of 24. Scale I have played around with this, around 3 is okay. And of course, because this is alpha, we want to limit it, because it shouldn't be less than 0 alpha transparency, so we check minimum Y. And because these 88 numbers or digits shouldn't get too bright, I want to limit the transparency to let's say 0.1. and check this, and of course I should change the keyframe to something. Can't change the keyframe while you have modifiers on there. Sorry. So let's quickly see how this. Yes, with 0.5 maybe I can go even lower. That's more what I'm going for. Let me quickly check with the 24. That looks better. So we have the 88, only a hint of it, barely visible. That's what I want. 0.03. Yep, that's it. So back again. Graph editor, add a noise modifier from frame 1 to the last frame and fade in over the course of 20 frames and fade out over 25, which is a bit more than a second. Limit the Y and limit it to maximum 0.05, a scale of about 3, and adjust the strength in a way that you don't have to, if the strength is too high, you will have like parts where it stays on the maximum for some time and on the minimum. So make sure that your strength is around a setting where it kind of looks like this. Okay. Let's see what we've created so far. Change to video editing, and I have already imported the scene, add scene, and just the normal scene, and I've made sure that OpenGL preview is disabled. And now what we will get is in the preview these numbers blinking and getting brighter and darker over time. And once it has finished caching this into the RAM, we can watch it in full speed. Let's see if the timing is correct. Yep, looks okay to me. But of course we have this problem that all the digits flicker in the same speed and at the same time. How do we fix that? Well, we will have to make more materials. Of course, we want to have as little work for that as possible. So we select one of these elements that we want to change, make it a single user copy, and it gets this one added behind there. And now if we switch over to the graph editor with this still selected, we can see our material 88.001, and it has the same modifiers on it. And if we now change the phase to, let's say, 15, it will have a different curve, meaning that the flickering will be in a different speed. Now, if I select, let's say we give this material to 3 other of these digits, just randomly select some and make another one, 88002, and increase the phase to like 30 to get yet another different one, and let's say that's enough for now. You get the idea, I hope. Now refresh the sequencer, and you can see that those digits change at different timings. and seem to portray random numbers or no numbers at all. And of course, for the best possible effect, you will want to give most of these parts of the or segments a single material or a different material. So in a ideal world, they will change completely independent of one another. But for this tutorial, I will stop so far and take a look at the 24. In the logo that I have made, this segment is the one that appears first. So it basically follows the same principle. I make it a single user copy and I set the alpha to, let's say, after 1 second, which is 24 frames, I want it to appear for the first time, and 5 seconds, 5 frames before that, it should be 0, and 4 frames after it should be 0 again. And now, what has this done? We will see as this runs through, after a second, this first digit will start to glow shortly. And if we do this some more, once again, this follows the same principle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And glow up to. Let's say the second digits that appear should have 2 of them at the same time, so I will copy this material over here. Now first this will appear. Now why on earth did this thing... sorry, I messed up right here. What did I do? Okay. This thing will appear and disappear for this frame. This thing will appear right here, and this has the same one. So these two will appear around frame 50 or something. And let's say the last ones will appear till frame 70. And they will stay visible. And around that same time, just to use the dope sheet editor, these 2 frames, Shift D to copy them over. And these 2. So what I've done right now is most of the 24 logo will become visible right here, but the first that appeared, the one down here, will become visible also around frame 70 a little bit later, and the second one will take even longer till frame 76. Best to show it to you in the sequencer. quickly. If you want to preview it, make sure to have both layers selected, or otherwise you will only see the output of one of these layers. Now you can see the flickering of those random numbers in the background. Some more numbers get visible, and then finally, bit after bit, the full 24 logo appears. And I hope you get the principle. You can put more time into this and get the timing just right to match it exactly like the TV show. And one more thing that I found looks quite good. On the final, when the 24 logo is full, it's best to use this to set it. We can add the glare filter. And if we lower the threshold, it's too much, but you can see it will get these color stripes, and they look okay like this, and we can use the mix to make them a bit less intense. That seems okay to me. Save it one more time. And that's it. As I said, the basic principle, I hope, is clear. And for the full complete timing, if you really want to imitate the full 24 logo, you should get a video from YouTube with the real timing to match up exactly when which number or when which part of the digits appears. I hope you found this useful. Happy blending. And after one more run through of this, once it has cached completely, see you next time and goodbye.